There's a silence before greatness, a stillness, where the world hasn't yet understood who's about to rise. Before the headlines, before the stadium lights blaze, before millions chant your name, there is only discipline, sacrifice, and the quiet conviction that destiny has chosen you. For Marc Guehi, that silence didn't intimidate him. It shaped him. Not every footballer is born with the spotlight. Some carve their way to it, brick by brick, training session by training session, doubted, overlooked, but never defeated. And today, as one of the most composed, intelligent, and commanding defenders of his generation, Guehi stands as a symbol of something deeper. Not the loud rise of a prodigy, but the disciplined, relentless ascent of a man built for greatness. Because in a world where talent glitters, it's the quiet fighters who build empires. Welcome to the journey of Marc Guehi, the boy who refused to be ordinary, the leader who emerged without noise, and the defender now commanding world-class respect, luxury, and legacy. It started in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, where dreams stretch far beyond the skyline, where families build futures on faith and courage. Born to Ivorian parents, Marc moved to South London as a child. A new country, a new life, a new battlefield. Football wasn't just a game, it was identity, purpose, a test. At Chelsea's academy, the walls were decorated with history. Drogba, Terry, Lampard, giants who built eras. And inside those halls, young Guehi studied. Not just how to defend, but how to lead. Quiet, serious, composed, the kind of player who doesn't need chaos to stand out. His aura does it for him. Those early days weren't glamorous. No private jets, no million-pound contracts. Just buses to training. Cold mornings. A dream in a backpack. But even then, coaches whispered, "This one. He's different." Power balanced with elegance. Strength blended with intelligence. A defender who didn't just stop battles. He dictated them. At Swansea City, on loan, he got his first taste of true responsibility. The championship is unforgiving. Gritty stadiums, relentless fixtures, veteran strikers trying to humble every rising star. And yet, Guehi rose, calm under pressure, brave in duels, commanding in the air. And suddenly, football wasn't asking, "Who is he?" It was asking, "Is he the future?" That future arrived fast. Crystal Palace signed him for a club record fee. Patrick Vieira handed him the armband pathways, and the Premier League, the most ruthless stage in world football, began to understand what Chelsea had nurtured. Leadership, discipline, class. A defender who guided instead of shouted, who built instead of broke, who studied strikers like equations and solved games like puzzles. Fans felt it, teammates trusted it. And soon, England would call. That first England national team cap wasn't just a dream fulfilled. It was a statement. Marc Guehi belonged among the elite. Under Gareth Southgate, he became part of a golden revival, playing alongside Lions in a team built for history. Wembley roared. Millions watched. And somewhere, a young boy in South London whispered, "One day that will be me too." Guehi wasn't loud about his success. He didn't chase cameras. He didn't force headlines. He simply worked, improved, evolved. And in sports, the strongest echo sometimes comes from those who don't shout. They simply perform. But there's another side to this story, the side most fans never see. Because the journey to elite football brings rewards that only few experience. Not loud extravagance, not wild excess. Marc Guehi's world is about elegance, balance, precision, the same qualities that define his defending. A sleek London residence, minimal design interiors, marble and glass finishes, warm ambient lights, panoramic city views. A home curated for tranquility, soft music playing, books on leadership stacked neatly, framed photos of family and childhood memories. Peace, comfort, purpose. On the driveway, a modern Mercedes-Benz GLE coupe, understated yet powerful. A Range Rover Sport Dynamic, champions comfort, night black paint, privacy glass, the vehicle of calm ambition. And for refined travel, a Porsche Cayenne Turbo, matte finish, crafted for presence without noise. Nothing flashy, everything intentional. Strength without arrogance, just like the man behind the steering wheel. Success isn't only measured in material achievement, but in responsibility. And in 2025, Marc Guehi is more than an athlete. He's a symbol of representation, a role model for first-generation dreamers, a voice for quiet leaders rising through discipline, not noise. He invests wisely, guided by financial mentors, real estate holdings, growth portfolios, athlete wealth management, built with long-term vision. And his net worth? Approaching 10 million with its trajectory only rising. But you won't see him flaunting it. He lives like he plays, grounded, strategic, composed, a faith-centered life, a private love life, protected, respected, family visits back to South London, dinners in Kensington, laughs with childhood friends, Sunday mornings spent in gratitude, not grandeur. Because for Marc Guehi, legacy matters more than spotlight, and legacy is built quietly until it shakes the world. Yet, the greatest chapters remain unwritten. A potential future at a Champions League giant, a Premier League captaincy, a defining role in England's modern football era, and the continued rise of a leader who never needed noise to be heard. Some careers explode, others ascend. Marc Guehi is ascending with purpose, precision, and power, and the world is finally starting to notice. Greatness doesn't rush, it unfolds, slowly, proudly, inevitably. And by 2025, Marc Guehi stands not just as a Premier League star, but as the embodiment of a new football archetype, the leader who rises without theatrics, the defender who commands without shouting, the man who proves that true power is quiet, because while the world chases noise, Guehi builds permanence. At Crystal Palace, his presence became more than tactical. It became cultural. Inside the dressing room, there are voices who talk the loudest, and then there are those who set standards. Marc didn't need to dominate conversations. His consistency spoke instead. Every tackle timed like choreography. Every aerial win a statement. Every build-up pass a whisper of calmness in chaos. Football is art for attackers, but for defenders like Marc, it's chess. Movements planned 3 moments ahead. Angles studied. Body positions trained like precision science. And every game, he didn't just defend his zone, he controlled it. Young players at Palace gravitated toward him. Analysts praised his intelligence. Fans admired his composure. And quietly, major European clubs began observing, taking notes, planning for their chance. Because football may speak in goals, but titles are built on defenders like Guehi. And while the stadiums echoed with his name, life beyond football grew richer, not in noise but in meaning. Inside his home, the routine is sacred. Sunrise light cutting through modern blinds, calm music flowing, lo-fi beats, gentle worship instrumentals, a prayer whispered before the world awakens. A kitchen with marble counters, stainless steel finishes, fridge stocked with organic produce, meal prep containers lined with discipline, roasted vegetables, lean proteins, hydration bottles labeled with times. A body built through devotion, not shortcuts. Morning meditation, stretching, breath work, mobility routines, protecting joints, nurturing longevity. A daily challenge not to outdo others, but to outdo yesterday. Then the commute. Quiet car, tinted windows, engine humming like confidence. No cameras, no vlogs, just the journey of a man working when nobody sees. Training ground arrival. Dap with teammates, humble smile, strap boots, and switch persona. Warm-ups, tactical unit drills, defensive shape, leadership sequences. Because leadership can be taught, but true leadership is lived. Football today is fast, brutal, demanding. And those who survive it long aren't just physically gifted, they are mentally armored. Guéhi's mental strength is no accident. It's curated. Coaches, performance psychologists, journaling habits, faith grounding him like roots beneath an oak tree. Some players perform for applause. Marc performs for purpose. After training, recovery. Cold immersion therapy, hydro pool, sauna, red light treatment. Longevity isn't luck, it's discipline disguised as ritual. Evenings? He isn't chasing nightlife or spotlight. Instead, private dinners in Chelsea or Canary Wharf, clean interiors, dim lighting, elegant plating, a quiet table for two. Conversation low, ambition high, privacy protected. He doesn't need the world to know who sits next to him. He only needs the right person to understand his mission. And back home, family FaceTime calls, catching up with childhood friends, laughter that brings humility, not ego. Because every man who rises must remember where he began. On off days, London becomes his playground, the clean side of luxury. Brunch in Notting Hill, art galleries in Kensington, private training sessions on hidden pitches, visits to young athletes' academies. Not for cameras, but for impact. A mentor in plain clothing, speaking truth instead of slogans, and travel, first class to European destinations, not for bragging, but for balance. Monaco marina walks, Dubai sunsets, Paris rooftop restaurants overlooking the Seine, candlelight reflecting ambition. Yet he always returns to London, because roots matter. His investment world mirrors his personality. Strategic, long-term, calculated. Real estate holdings in London and Surrey. Financial stewardship classes. Business mentorship. Early stakes in health tech and athlete wellness brands. Advisory roles. Shaping the future of sports psychology and recovery tech. He's not building for now. He's building for after football, when legacy moves from pitch to portfolio. And philanthropy? Not loud charity galas, not performative gestures, but real service. Scholarships for African youth, community programs, football boots donated quietly to academy players dreaming just like he once did. He knows the power of anonymity in kindness. Public perception sees a defender. Behind closed doors exists a man sculpting legacy brick by brick. And through all of this, something else grows. His value, his market, his demand. By 2025, whispers rise from European giants. Bayern wants leadership. Manchester United wants stability. Arsenal sees a title backbone. Liverpool sees a Virgil successor. Chelsea sees the one who got away. Football doesn't forget value. It realizes it in time. And whatever badge he wears next, it will shine because he earned it, not inherited it. Evenings end with silence, gratitude, and vision. Lights low, aromatherapy diffuser glowing, a leather notebook with goals written in fine ink, discipline, faith, leadership, legacy. He doesn't just play football. He studies life, stacking purpose like trophies. And as he rests, the world outside spins. Lights, noise, ego, chaos. But within these walls, calm, focus, destiny, breathing slowly, confident in its timing. Because brilliance isn't loud, success isn't frantic, and greatness, true greatness, doesn't rush. It rises like dawn, quiet, powerful, unavoidable. Every great journey reaches a moment, not of arrival, but of recognition. A point where the world finally sees what the quiet ones always knew. Marc Guehi stands at that moment now. Because greatness isn't declared, it is revealed. And in 2025, the world begins to understand that England's back line is not simply a defense. It is a dynasty in the making. And within it, Guehi is not a passenger. He is an architect. Stadiums shake as chants rise. Commentators pause when he steps forward. Strikers hesitate when they see him waiting. Poised, unreadable, inevitable. Football has showmen. Football has warriors. But every generation gets only a handful of commanders, defenders who impose order upon chaos. Vidic, Ramos, Van Dijk, Chiellini. And now, Guéhi's name enters that conversation, not through noise, but through presence, not through hype, but through execution. International duty changes a player. The anthem, the roar of Wembley, the weight of a nation pressing against your chest like armor. Some athletes crumble under that pressure. Guéhi breathes in, shoulders settle, and eyes sharpen, not to survive the moment, but to own it. He was not groomed to be a star. He was sculpted to be a leader. There's a moment during England training, cameras far away, only teammates close enough to see. A young defender struggles with positioning, confusion, frustration. Guéhi steps in, calm voice, simple instruction, demonstration, shoulder tap, confidence transferred like a gift. That's leadership, unseen by millions, life-changing for one. The kind of leadership that doesn't seek applause, only results. Southgate sees it, analysts note it. And someday soon, the armband could be wrapped around his arm permanently. A quiet captain for a generation, obsessed with volume. Away from the pitch, life continues with elegance and intention. A penthouse evening, floor-to-ceiling glass overlooking the river, the city breathing in silver light. Jazz plays low. A private chef prepares grilled sea bass, asparagus, grain bowls rich in nutrients and precision. He eats not for indulgence, but for output. Fuel, not distraction. Conversations are reflective. Ambition isn't entertainment. It is habit. He talks about longevity, family legacy, impact in Africa, financial independence, and one day, possibly, building academies to nurture young defenders with intelligence, discipline, and grace. For him, structure is not restriction. It is freedom, because greatness is sustained through design, not chance. Later, a gym session in his private training room. Racks polished, dumbbells aligned, a digital recovery platform glowing blue, weighted squats, mobility sequences, stability drills, performance bands, breathing techniques, silence only broken by slow, intentional breaths and the whisper of steel returning to racks. Each rep is a promise to the future. Each session is insurance against limitation. Champions aren't made when stadiums roar. They're made when nobody watches. His world outside luxury is equally layered. His faith a compass, not a badge. Church visits, prayer circles with family, scripture quietly marked, not broadcasted. Faith isn't a performance. It is a foundation. And family remains the heartbeat. Weekend brunch visits to parents, laughs with siblings, phones buzzing with shared memories and life plans. In a world obsessed with image, here he is just Marc. Son, brother, friend. In those moments, he remembers why he started. The long bus rides, the borrowed boots, the dream bigger than the neighborhood. And gratitude floods in. Not loud, not boastful, but deep. There are homes in Surrey he's previewing. Calm neighborhoods, gated driveways, private gardens for future family life. Marble kitchens, walk-in dressing spaces, underground garages with soft lighting lined with immaculate machines. Cars, still elegant, still curated, still purposeful. A Mercedes S-Class executive for matchday arrivals. A Range Rover autobiography for family travel. Pearl white, black accents, luxury black leather interior. Whispers of a future Ferrari order, not for noise but as a personal milestone. Reward earned, reward controlled. Luxury in Marc's world is not a scream, it is a whisper of accomplishment. And then there is legacy, the silent theme stitched through every chapter of his life. Kids in London copying his stance, Ivorian youngsters seeing themselves in his journey. Premier League academy players studying his positioning like scholars reading scripture. Guéhi is not just playing football, he is constructing blueprint. In a decade when documentaries play and voices narrate the era of England's elite defenders, his story will shine because it wasn't rushed, it wasn't borrowed, it wasn't bought, it was built. Brick by brick, day by day, quiet, relentless, unshakable. Imagine the final act, Champions League anthem echoing, A captain's armband secured around his arm, fireworks cutting through European sky, trophies lifted not by luck, but by calculation and character. Fans screaming, cameras flashing, and in the middle, a man who never needed the noise, but earned every sound. Because that's the power of rising slowly. When you arrive, you stay. Marc Guehi's story is not a sprint. It is a climb, a principled, patient, elegant ascent to football royalty. And the best part? He is only getting started. The world looked away once. Now the world looks up. Quiet ambition built him. Quiet excellence sustains him. Quiet greatness will crown him. Some players play the game. He's rewriting how greatness is defined. And as the lights lower and the screen fades, the final truth settles in like breath after victory. Sometimes the loudest legacy is the one built in silence,